Hello, and welcome to episode 25 of Jester Jesters Goes Viral. Now, this is probably going to be the last one in this style with submissions. For the fuck? Oh, God. Okay. I don't really know what happened there. Well, my power seems to have gone, but I've got to do the episode anyway, so welcome to Jester Jesters Goes Viral. A strange thing happened to me last night. I was trying to record the introduction for episode 25 of Jester Jesters Goes Viral, a weekly internet comedy show to replace Jester Jesters downstairs at the Betsy Trotwood in Farringdon every Monday at 8 p.m. And I suddenly just felt this strange presence. And it turns out I've got ghosts. I've been hearing sort of screams and moans and wailing at night, but I thought that was just the foxes. But it turns out, you know, when you see one, you know that like the house is teeming with them. And you know, I'm a little bit squeamish when it comes to that sort of thing, ghosts and werewolves and even centaurs and things like that. They're, like, it just makes me I don't know. I don't really like it. But I'm a grown up, so I need to sort these things out. And I like to try and do it myself. But yeah, so that's why this episode's a little bit shaky. It's not quite as highly produced as it might normally be. Now, what I'd normally say in the introduction here is that we accept submissions from anyone of up to about 5 minutes, and we don't watch them before they go out, so it's a surprise for us and slightly irresponsible. But this is the last episode we're accepting submissions, so there's no point in me saying that, so I won't say it. We've been doing this for 6 months now, since the start of lockdown. The Betsy Trotwood has now opened, so you can go there, you can have a drink. I had a drink there on Friday, it was amazing. It's so nice to be back in that pub. But it doesn't feel, I'm not sure when the actual night will be able to start up again. Like, we'll have to see about that. But we've done sort of 6 months of this, so I think we're going to take a little break and maybe see if it comes back in another form. And if people submit things, maybe that will encourage us to bring it back up again. So yeah, so I'm gonna focus on trying to work out what I can do about these ghosts while we have our first submission, which is from Declan Kennedy.
I did a shit with my eyes.
My eyes. White Stromboli madrigals and how to make them. Get your dough and roll it out into a wingspan. Fold it in using your thumbs as hostages. Sprinkle on pernicious threads. Clamp together with a vice-like parrot. Glaze it lovingly with a loving gaze, and also some melted emphasis. Break in egg whites and whisk using a frantic spanner. Arrange in a pincer movement. Place in a baking tray and then turn it in a fan-assisted tomb. Don't forget to tip the pallbearers. When it is scowling, remove and leave to stand for a minute. When the minute is up, sign a disclaimer and away. Slice length and width ways, but never diagonally.
Never diagonally.
Serve with a valet and side salad on the side.
The porn secretary Dominic Robb has said that only 2 outstanding bones of contention remain in talks with Brussels on a trade deal. Fishing rights and taxpayer support for businesses.
On this day. In 1978, Cliff Richard scored a hat-trick by having 3 records in the top 20 at once, and also in a football match, which was something of a shock for the actual players. The singer reportedly ran onto the pitch dressed as a cavalier, declaring, "I'm Cliff Richard and I'm full of winning," before rapidly scoring the winning tally and leaving the grounds on a sled pulled by muscular huskies. On this day. In 1982, rioters and police clashed at White Hart Lane following an escalation in tension during a protest. No one could remember what the protest was about, but everyone agreed it turned ugly quickly, and the police were quick to respond with tear gas, horses, batons, and rubber bullets. In fact, witnesses cast doubt on the presence of a protest in the first place, and that it might have begun when someone raised their voice slightly. The Chief Commissioner of Police told the laundrette this unfettered reign of terror must be curbed before total anarchy occurs. On this day. In 1993, the Grand National was almost cancelled when one of the horses was revealed to be on the board of directors for one of the sponsors. The race went ahead when it emerged that the post was advisory and unpaid. Officials expressed relief they could kill equines.
Chief Commissioner of Police. The Chief Commissioner.
Dominic Raab. Dominic Raab.
Ghoul. Ghost. So, apparition of someone who's deceased. Doesn't really help me. I kind of knew that. That's interesting. It's the same root as guest and host. Host and guest are the same. And ghost. It's interesting. Well, anyway, our next guest is also a host. It's Chris Timoney.
Hello, and welcome to the penultimate episode of Jester Jesters Goes Viral. Now, we've had a lot of fun over the last 25 weeks, a lot of laughing, a lot of good times, but maybe it's good to get away from all that for 1 week and focus on the music. So I've taken a look and dipped into my ukulele songbook for some gems that haven't seen the light of day for a while, have never even been seen or heard, and I thought maybe let's wheel some of those out and have a bit of fun. Let's have a look. Seeing you, we were together, you and I, but not forever. And I see that we could never be. Tea and coffee doesn't go, I spell it out just so you know. I see you anti-masking, wear a mask, you cunts. Wear a mask. You're like a duvet, you're like a dream. A hot water bottle giving off steam. You're like a pillow under my head. Yeah, you're anything, as long as it gets me into your bed. Yeah, anything, as long as it gets me into your bed. And like some bells, you refuse to snooze. I can hardly believe my luck. Yes, you're anything, as long as I get a kiss. Yeah, anything, as long as I get a fuck. Semi-serious song that has not aged well. Here's a little premature Christmas number for you. All the spirit's gone, there's no more snow song, and MD and May have waved goodbye. And I've asked dear old Santy if he's got anything in his baggie, but he's gone and shoved it all up Rudolph's nose. Deck the halls, we're all bored shitless, the dealer's closed for business, and tell my mum I'm coming down for Christmas. Oh, yeah, tell my mum I'm coming down. Well, it's a pie and chips for you, and a pie and chips for me. And I only joined this buffet so I could have the chance to speak. But if I had a roast for each time I held you close, I would be clinically obese. Well, it's a bottle of wine for you, and a bottle of wine for me. And I only started drinking so I could kiss you on the cheek. But if I had a rose for each time I held you close, my whole house would be completely filled with bees or wasps. As I was walking through Hampstead Heath, a couple came up to me. They pointed out two gorgeous dogs. Then they asked me what was the breed. I said I never owned a dog, don't own a dog, those aren't my dogs. Never had a dog, don't own a dog, don't know any dogs, so I wouldn't know the breed. And they turned away. Then a child stopped to say, excuse me, what do they eat? I said I never owned a dog, never fed a dog, don't know what dogs eat. Never had a dog, don't own a dog, don't know anything about dogs or what they eat. And then an old woman came up and stopped to say, could I have a go on the lead? So I killed both dogs, smashed both dogs with a brick, killed them with a brick, killed them with a brick, smashed both dogs cause I am better than dogs. The fuck's that about? This next song is probably the song that gets requested the most, it isn't. But if you imagined Morrissey, or the Smiths as he was first known, doing a version of a Bond theme tune, it would probably go like this. It's so dreary, it makes me sigh, 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 sigh. A game of chance and peeping eyes, 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 eyes. I'm just a number, can numbers cry, cry, cry? It's part of the pain of being a spy. It's like a lion that tries to hunt me, a rotten oath to queen and country. Shake and stare, don't mean to hurt her, but each kiss I blow is another murder. Oh, generic Bond song. Oh, generic Bond song. Monstrous game, a cruel charade. The game is set, the bed is made. We lie like dogs with Constance holding. I find the whole thing so tediously boring. Oh, generic Bond song. Oh, generic Bond song. Just like the last one, it's so gruesome. Oh, generic Bond song. Something like that. And of course, what better way to end than where it all began, with this little ditty. When you found that drinking's took its toll and you need something to fill a hole, but the girls have gone. It's 4 a.m. The tubes have stopped and you've lost your friends. Well, there's somewhere you can eat your pain away. When you can't feel your feet or your legs and you can't get a steak and onion slice from Greg's, or find your coat or your mobile phone and crave questionable meat before you crawl back home. Well, there's somewhere you can gorge your sins away. In the chicken shops of London, in the chicken shops of London. Tell me how many chickens have to die. It's like a concrete chicken graveyard inside. Surely to Christ there must be something more pleasant. Is there no Kentucky Fried Goose or pheasant in the chicken shops of London town? Is there anything else that you'll be needing? Just a bag of chips and a rectal bleeding from the chicken shops of London town. And she will be loved, and she will be loved, with or without you, with or without you, oh, let it bleed. See you next week.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, do you do exorcisms? Yeah, I've got ghosts. No, I mean, it's weird. They look like people I know. Right, okay. Yeah, that's a good explanation for that. Makes complete sense. A priest. Well, I'm not Catholic, you see. Yeah. No, I mean, vicar doesn't really have the sort of gravitas you want for an exorcism. Also, I'm not Church of England either. It's like, I'm an atheist, actually. Do you offer like a secular exorcism? A secularism, if you will. You won't. You don't. Okay. All right, well, thanks for your help. Oh, there's a submission here from Jonathan Hearn.
always read the T's and C's.
So I've looked up how to do the exorcism myself. It's quite simple actually. I just have to say the right words and then blow into this candle, and it should do it. A lot of the theatrics they do around it is actually not necessary. So here he goes. I ban you, ghosts. You ban who? Here's Jethro Bradley.
Ever since arriving in our present day from the 2020s, Jethro Bradley has been inspiring and challenging audiences with his space-age wisdom.
And you will be overjoyed to hear, I'm sure, that we've learned from your lessons and in the future there are no more wars. Only joking, there are loads of wars.
We are lucky to have gained exclusive access to Jethro as he gives talks and encounters the rich and famous. In this program, the man from the future meets figures from the world of popular music, starting with singer-songwriter Bob Dylan.
I'm saying that you're going to die and you're going to go off the earth. You're going to be dead. Man, it could be 20 years. It could be tomorrow. Anytime. So am I. I mean, it's going to be gone. The world's going to go on without us. All right, now you do your job in the face of that, and how seriously you take yourself, you decide for yourself.
Well, it's lovely to meet you too, Bob.
Are you going to see the concert tonight?
Yes, I am.
Are you going to hear it?
I hope so.
Okay, you hear and see it?
Yes.
And it's going to happen fast, and you're not going to get it all. And you might even hear the wrong words, And then afterwards, I won't be able to talk to you afterwards. I got nothing to say about these things I write. I could tell you, I'm not a folk singer and explain to you why, but you wouldn't really understand. All you could do, you could nod your head.
Can I start by congratulating you, because in the future you're still very popular. Everyone's listening to your music. However, when they impersonate your singing voice, they tend to go like that. So I wanted to start by asking you, how would you describe your singing style?
Let's say a tramp vomiting, man, into the sewer.
Yeah, I can hear that. Yeah, especially if it was a tramp who'd been sick a few times already, so he was kind of dry heaving. Can I ask you a follow-up question? I'm a bit nervous though, because I don't want to offend you.
You couldn't offend me, and I'm sure I couldn't offend you.
Oh, that's good. So neither of us can be offended. Because in 1993 you are completely outsold by the artist Mr. Blobby, who releases his seminal album titled Mr. Blobby. And he reveals an incredible singing voice, which is much more blobby compared with your Would you consider dropping the in favour of more of a blobby?
How can I answer that if you got the nerve to ask me? You got a lot of nerve asking me a question like that. Did you ask the Beatles that?
It's funny you should say that. John, earlier today I played you some songs from Mr. Blobby's acclaimed 1993 album, Mr. Blobby. And I could tell you were very impressed. I can also tell you that even in the 2020s, Mr. Blobby is every bit as popular as he was in the 90s. Do you think the Beatles could ever enjoy the same staying power as a Mr. Blobby?
How long are you going to last? Well, you can't say. You can be big-headed and say, yeah, we're going to last 10 years. But as soon as you've said that, you think, we're lucky if we last 3 months.
And turning to you now, Paul, you're quite famous for going, ooh, when you sing. Having heard Mr. Blobby, do you think you're going to continue singing From Me to You and going, ooh,
or do you think you might adapt and incorporate a bit more blobby?
Well, obviously we can't keep playing the same sort of music until we're about 40, because when we're old men playing From Me to You, nobody's going to want to know that it's all about that sort of thing.
No, I think you're being a bit modest there, Paul, because I've heard your music, I've heard the Beatles, and some of it's quite good. I could easily, if you and John stick at it, I can easily see you producing something on a par with Mr. Blobby by the time you're 40.
Who knows, at 40 we may not know how to write songs anymore.
You'll be fine. Well, thank you very much. Thank you all very, very much.
I hope to have enough money to go into a business of my own by the time we do flop. And we don't know, it may be next week, it may be 2 or 3 years, but I think we'll be in the business either up there or down there for at least another 4 years.
What did I do wrong? Oh, I've banned hosts instead of ghosts. That was a typo. Okay. Well, I'm not sure what Chris Timoney's going to do next week if he's not hosting. But it feels to me like he's probably going to wrap up all of the disparate storylines that have happened throughout the last 6 months in one tidy little package. Look forward to that. See you next week. Bye!